Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. We have we've been teachers for, well, I've been a teacher for uh my first class as an English teacher, as a hired English teacher, was in 2001. So that makes me uh yeah, 20, this is 2021, so it's that makes it 20 years of experience teaching, you know. I wouldn't say nonstop because I stopped for about 4 or 5 years that I didn't teach a class in the 2000, probably 10, 11, 12, 13. But I think I came back in 2015. So,
So you took a
you know,
break. You took a big break,
I did take a break. I was making music,
right?
and I didn't teach for at least 3 years. I
Wow.
didn't teach for at least 3 years, and but ever since I took classes back in 2015, I haven't stopped either. So let's say 20 years and three you know of a break. So however, I've been. Good morning, Estrella. Good morning. Thank you for showing up. All right. So, however, my first experience as a teacher was using quick learnings material. Mac. Good morning. Our biggest fan, our biggest collaborator. Online. There you go. So, first time I used a material was quick learnings. And quick learning, I believe, and I strongly believe, has a very strong and well planned system. I mean, I think it's one of the best systems. Why? Because they start not quick learnings system per se, but the idea. Like talk first, get to know the sounds, and then write. Okay, but first, I think the first four levels in quick learning are just speak, 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 repeat and talk, repeat and talk. Know the pronunciation, know the sounds, and then till the fourth level they start writing what they already spoke in levels 1 through 3. Okay, so I and then they teach from level 1 to TOEFL, and I think it's a good system. I don't know, but they have this way of teaching through stories and all. Well, that's quick learning, we'll talk about it. Okay, then I taught at a non-systematic school, which didn't have any system. They just thought, okay, be cool and have good vibes and relax and you'll learn. Just repeat what this book says and you'll speak. And well, talking going back to quick learning, that system worked, not for everybody, but it did work. It was very I mean, quick learning teaches students and then has teachers, you know, that learn in quick learning. So I think that system does work. That's my opinion. Then we'll debate about it. And then the second institute I worked, they had no system, but they just tell you relax and you'll learn. And magically, it worked because people were speaking English too. Okay, then I worked for several small institutes. I even had my own project. I didn't know what to use. I used this grammar book, this other grammar book. I didn't really like it. And then at the last institute I worked, we worked with interchange. I had chance to know the interchange book. Before that I taught with side by side. I think it was with touchstone. I think it was. I didn't really like them. But then I met. I was introduced to interchange and I loved it, and I loved every single book. You know, because I think it's very well structured and I followed it. However, when I started my project, I said maybe I can make a mix of everything I know so far, and I can make my own system. And that's what I did for about 3 or 4 years, you know. And I created Inglés desde cero system, which compresses, which like 12 topics of the English language. So you are not a truly beginner anymore. You're not completely from zero anymore. And then I went back to interchange. So that's my experience. We will talk about each one of them, but tell me about your experience using books or materials, Nissan.
Yeah. Um, yeah, what you said about quick learning is very interesting because I personally, this is not a commercial or anything. I personally
Right,
don't. I mean, I personally dislike the company and their brand, but
right,
I think the material uh, they used. I don't know if they still use the same type of material. It was really interesting because of the way they would use text, because everything was phonetically uh,
based.
based, like the dialogues, in the conversations, in the pictures, on the pictures, uh, didn't have any letters. It was all symbols representing phonetical sounds. So I think that was really interesting. I think that that approach of first learning the sounds and basic commands and basic chunks of information is
Productive.
a really interesting approach. But like you said, it works, but it doesn't really work for everybody.
Right.
And so, yeah, many people feel, ripped off when they see that they just can't get their heads around the system, because some people do need to take notes using standard text. No, and also one of the things that they did was that they wouldn't let you take notes, and I think that's really curious because most people
Right. I
most people
remember
need
that.
to take notes. Yeah, they used to say like, no, you're not supposed to take notes. So yeah, I mean, for many people it works, but for many people it doesn't. Uh, what else? I've And then you were talking about this other school who had a really really eclectic open system where the material were actual stories. That's it.
Right. But there was
Mm,
no explanation. Remember?
no grammar explanations, not even grammar objectives. I think this material
Right.
was really good in the content, but it relied, I'd say, 100% on the teacher to try
Right.
to, uh, guide the student throughout the objectives. No, which
Luckily for them, they had, I mean, the institute had good teachers, or teachers that actually cared for students, and they had some sort of preparation. Otherwise, I mean, and the ones that didn't, well, they didn't really give any results because the system itself didn't actually exist. That's what I think.
yes, definitely. I think if you have, uh, you know, uh, passionate teachers, you know, experience, it's preferable, but not that necessary. But if you have like committed people, committed teachers, who care about their students, the you can work with pretty much any material out there.
Right. Free.
So I think the best material I would say that the I would argue that the best material out there is the one that can help you study by yourself. I
Wow.
think the one that makes you as independent as possible.
We have a few comments here. We have
All right.
well, we have Manuel Hernandez. I'm studying there, and the color chart has helped me a lot. It definitely does. It definitely
Yes.
does. It helped. It helped me correct some pronunciation. As a teacher. Because yes, I think the color chart, which is based on the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is the real idea of it. But the color chart, the way they worked it out, I think yeah, it's a really good tool to teach words and pronunciation. Yes, of course. Mercedes says Duolingo. What do you think of Duolingo?
It needs a lot of discipline. I think it's a good. I think it's a good tool, but yeah, it needs you to be there every day. Because as if you use it if you use it casually, uh, you're not really gonna get great results.
Okay, it
As
says
in everything.
Strella, she's from Freeway. That's the institute where we're talking about. That's what I loved about Freeway. You as teachers, exactly. It was like a show. It was like a concert. Every class was like a concert, and we just have like our presentation. But we didn't really have any system. Which that might be the system itself. Not having a system, it somehow and magically worked. So yeah, it says Mac says something that no not many school teachers are the phonetic symbols. All right. And a few how techniques how to identify it in dictionaries. Yes, of course. Okay, sounds is the most important thing. So let's talk about interchange. What do you think about interchange? Because I think that's the one we're not even promoting it because I'm not even promoting it because we have no contact with these people. It's not it's there, it's no commercial, no nothing. We having no royalties, or we're getting no royalties from this commercial. However, I want to comment that for me is the one that has worked the best. However, I do think that you do need some type of a previous course or preparation in order to start using interchange. And let's try, because interchange has no Spanish in it, right? So it has no real explanations from a point on. They just give you some examples, some words that you and they tell you use them like this, but they don't tell you why exactly. So I give them an introduction prior to the use of interchange book, and then interchange can take you to all the way to C1, I guess. What do you think of interchange? We have some comments here. Oh, Brendita. Hello, hello. Nice to see you guys. Nice to read you too. Thank you. Send you a big hug, Brenda. So,
Yeah.
Nissan,
Uh,
interchange. What do you think of that?
yeah. I think it's a good. I think it's a good book. And if you compare with others, for example, like National Geographic started to get into this learning thing with their own books, and you can notice that they're relatively new in this because they will give you content, they will give you input like this article and this or this conversation, this dialogue, or whatever. And then they'll just ask questions like, okay, so what do you think about this picture? Okay, so what do you think about these people's occupations? But when it comes down to grammar explanations, they're not really clear.
Mm,
They're actually kind of vague, and the rules are not clear at all. So like I said before, like if you have a reliable committed teacher,
right.
then it's not a problem because he will balance that out. But
Do
if
you think that
you're
happens with internet with interchange?
No, I think that's the difference. Like with interchange, for
Really?
example, yeah, like uh, for example, it usually uh, it usually introduces the topic with a conversation, and the conversations are pretty simple. You know, it's not a huge chunk of text. It's usually a small conversation where they are using the grammar topic, and usually right after the conversation it lets you know what you're supposed to be focusing on,
Right, right.
and
Okay.
it's pretty clear on the rules. Like, this is what you are going to be studying and practicing, and this is the rule that you're supposed to follow, and here are some examples.
If I had to trash interchange a little, I would say that sometimes they assume you already know some information. You know,
Definitely.
sometimes they skip some. I mean, because I follow through the whole system from intro through what's the last one? Passages, which takes you from A1 to C2 supposedly. So the whole system sometimes, and every single lesson I've taught, so I've noticed that sometimes it skips some things that I don't know how they expect you to know if it's not for the teacher. So I think the best material and the best system is the teacher himself. I that would be my answer to this question. What's the best material? The best material is the teacher himself or themselves. Like, because I think any material the teacher would understand and interpret for the student's benefit. However, for a teacher until till this moment, I mean, I don't know a whole bunch of books, but I know a few, and I think interchange would give me would make my life easier. However, you do have to complement it, with your own knowledge. But for example, here you have a topic, can yeah, my computer's kind of slow. So here you have a topic, but then you still need to teach them a few things, that at until this point, they never taught you how to say at, and they are giving you a net. So you need to teach them that. But I like it because then you have listening, which you can I think you can use, and it has the script here, which is really good. I wish it was a little bit longer, so you could rewind some, because rewinding tends to be a little hard, but that's the least of the prompts, and then it gives you some conversation, and then it gives you some videos, it gives you some workbook, he gives you a workbook where you can practice, it gives you some grammar focus. I mean, it makes your life easier. So I still, I think, regardless of all facts, interchange so far has been my preferred material. Unison, what do you think?
Well, yeah, definitely, and yeah, most books make a lot of assumptions on the student's background, but like, if we're comparing, like, if you think interchange makes assumptions, National Geographic books say hold my beer.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, like they're really really different, but just as you said, there's always the need to give students a propedeutic course,
Right,
or at
right.
least some introductory lessons before you start using this material, because this material will give you contexts. They will give you the situations in which you're going to be using basic structures and basic vocabulary. But first, before that, you and if you're a student that is starting from scratch, that is starting from zero, You need to know really, really basic concepts that you might not even be aware of in your own language, as we have discussed before. And and lastly, I think what you said about the teacher being the best material is a weird take. Like
Right.
I can't picture teachers as material, but I get your point. I mean, I do get your point. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, because like we are the material. Why? Because we are books at times, man. We
Okay.
have, we you have so many examples, and if you don't have those examples in your head, it's hard for your student to really understand. So you need to be really resourceful to understand and that's why I believe in one-on-one classes rather than group classes, because you need to to actually give some results, or better results. Let me say, I think you need to spend some time and understand each student's case. However,
Yeah.
I know that groups, especially small groups, can have good results. And if you use, for example, interchange, I think is yeah, you'll get some results. However, I think the teacher needs to understand what the student needs, and then give them the examples the student needs, and all these examples are in your head. So that makes you a book. I mean, it's a crazy approach, but it is, no? Because I always use the same examples, but sometimes, according to the student, I use different examples or something. Sometimes I skip some lessons because I think this student is not ready for that. And then, even though I have a structure and a program, I change that program. Why? Because students are not ready for it, or they need to cover another type of material, and at the same time, well, let me just read what they say. Okay, it says yesterday. Okay, yesterday I saw the pandas commercial, and I imagine Nisa was in that.
Motley.
Was
What?
that Madly?
I don't know. I don't know what he means. In that mood, maybe.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but the autocorrector is playing
Okay, could you
tricks on
play
me.
that pandas commercial again? Okay, I would.
It's the Korean. Is it? It's the
And Egyptian.
Egyptian
It
commercial.
could be
Yeah,
possible, Mr. Camp. I'm not gonna do it, man, because they will block us. The like yesterday,
yeah.
they blocked
Oh, for
because it's
real?
because yeah, copyright infringement.
Copyright. Oh,
So it's copyrighted. I'm sorry. So interchange I used when I was at kiosk.
yeah.
Exactly. And it's good. However, I'm gonna tell you the truth, Mercedes. When I first started using interchange, I wasn't really an expert. I mean, Mercedes was never my student, but I'm just saying, I'm not. I wasn't an expert in it, so I didn't really know how to squeeze all the knowledge out of it. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to use it. So if you're gonna use interchange or any other material, I think you need to go through a training on that material, which, like, anybody can be a killer with a screwdriver, or not. I mean, I'm using a very grotesque type of example, but I was watching the what's this song, this movie, this guy, Denzel Washington,
Which one?
the one
Uh,
that he kills people in 30 seconds and things. So I
but
got
he
that in my
kills
mind.
people in all of his movies. I think.
Right, right, right. But anyway, so in next,
Eli, the Book of Eli. Were you
no,
watching
no,
the book?
no, the I don't know, the revenge. I don't know.
The Exterminator or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of
something.
those.
So
One of those.
anyway, so what I'm saying is
Pacifier.
that your tool is not that what the tool is what you make out of the tool. So if you're gonna use interchange or any other material, I think you gotta know your material very well. So just don't expect the material is gonna do magic for you. Nah, you need to get to even I created a system, and even my poorly created system helps people. Even that system that we were talking about yes before, that it had no system. It helped students. Why? Because teachers knew how to make the best out of it. So I think it's not the material, it's the teacher actually, because and or the right combination of factors. The like good material, well structured material, and a good teacher. Oh, then you will have results. Let's read what it says. Okay, it says Max says learning English is not difficult. It depends who teaches you. Yeah, it depends on who teaches you. The English clinic is the best. You are damn right, Mac. You're damn right. Brenda Yanez, I used interchange books at school. That's why you had good English. They are really good material. Yes, of course. And they always have. Now they are in the fifth edition. So Motley, I remember, is a botarga.
Oh, you imagine me one of those?
Ah, okay, the panda.
I don't need one, man. I already look like a panda. Look at me. So
However,
yeah, yes.
yeah, go, Nathan.
No, what you were saying, like I was thinking about the issue from a student's perspective, but yeah, you're totally right. Like from a teacher's perspective, uh, you need to know the you need to really become familiar with the material you're using beforehand, no? So you can avoid improvisation, and also
Right,
you can't rely 100% on the book because that's just lame.
right. No, but I need to admit, at the beginning when I started using, for example, interchange, I used to tell students, okay, do that exercise. I don't think that's very productive either now. So now I do the exercise with them. I do give them a time to think and analyze, you know. So now do that, but now I know what they are supposed to answer, you know. But at the beginning, yeah, I didn't really know, so I learned. But that's the way I learned, by committing mistakes. But now I don't know, man. I think I'm not gonna leave interchange. I try to create my own material. I try to create my own examples and stuff. And I think I'm still gonna use them as a complement to what's already there. However, before, like we said, before interchange, I think I'm gonna still give them my Inglés desde cero course, so they know what they're gonna see in English. They just not only, like, for example, interchange in lesson one. They have the difference between I and my. Well, not the difference between. I mean, they say I, and in the same lesson they say I, my. You are, and your as the possessive adjective. And I think that might be confusing. Like, how can you
Yeah.
expect them, to use them if they don't know why they are using them? Yes, you will give them some examples, but why are they using it? So I think that if you give them a previous course, I think you can use then you can use interchange or any other material that you would recommend, or that you have used that you think is good.
Actually, I was curious. I was honestly curious about what you just said, and I was going to ask you about it because in my experience, which is many teachers' experience, is that we've been given a specific type of material, and we've had to do our research, becoming familiar with the material in order to use it in the best way possible. But I never really thought of making my own material. Like
Ah,
I could talk about the best parts in different publications. But you did, like you actually came up with your own material more than once.
right.
So how do you do that? Like, what was your thought process when you said, like, okay, I'm gonna be taking the best out of these and that uh, book, to come up with something uh, more accurate, direct, and concise.
Right. Because well, what I thought first is like, well, I put all the topics in my head and I think tenses are the main, thread, of thoughts. So I go from present simple, going through all the tenses, through all the way to past perfect, present simple to past perfect simple. And then I flip and I go for the same tenses, progressives, positive and negatives. And then along the way, you will find, like, for example, well, actually, present simple is the one that will give you the most materials to cover. So, like nouns, pronouns, I'll teach them nouns, pronouns, verbs, verb forms, and probably prepositions and conjunctions. That's pretty much what I teach them at first, along with tenses. So once I'm done with tenses, and I already taught them tenses and auxiliaries. I already taught them contractions. I already taught them, the basic, which I think is the basic. I don't teach them vocabulary in my Inglés desde cero course. I don't teach them vocabulary. I teach them structuring. These are the elements that you're gonna see. Like, what's an auxiliary? Like, they just say, okay, use the auxiliary. Yeah, but what is an auxiliary? Why do we ever? Why do we even need an auxiliary? What's the formula? Like, for example, yesterday I was teaching advanced, and they said the what is it? The pronoun. I even forgot this. But they were teaching something like who and that, right? The man, I'm a bad teacher. But I was teaching a topic yesterday that I said, well, this is an advanced book, but it's everything I've been telling you from the beginning: subject, verb, complement. I'm gonna tell you right now. So, like, if you go there from the beginning and you teach him structuring from the beginning, in Spanish, because I think that will be the only flaw in my system, that I teach it in Spanish. Inglés desde cero is in Spanish, so it wouldn't be for everybody. Like it wouldn't be for a Chinese person. I think that's the flaw.
Right,
However,
right,
I think I use the benefits of knowing a language, which is Spanish, and then of not really starting from zero, because you're not starting from zero. You're starting from knowing Spanish. So that's your start. You already know Spanish. So let's take that in advantage as an advantage, and let's relative pronouns. Relative pronouns. That was my topic yesterday. So I was saying, okay, relative pronouns. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so interchange makes it a big deal out of it, and they call it relative pronouns. And then, but what I told my students is nothing but what we were saying before. Is just subject, verb, and big complement. But the complement, like I've always said, is bigger than what it is. But it's still the complement. It's not another subject. And then I explain them the difference between clause and sentence and things like that. So if you're gonna use a material, I think you need to know structuring, and basic structuring, and answering your question. I think what I thought before I created my own material was knowing many materials, like much material actually, and you would get the best out of it and get the most simplistic way, get the most
right.
simplistic way and try to adapt it to your market, which is my market is Mexico and American and Mexicans in the United States. So sometimes these books use materials or what's Tasmania like? I might not use Tasmania. I might use, I don't know, Toluca, something like that. I might do that. So basically, did that answer your question, Nathan? Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I think yeah, I think it did because I remember also before Ingleses de Cero, you also had, kind of wrote this.
Compendium of formulas.
Yeah, exactly, and you focused on grammar as having a very easy to follow grammar guide with all
Right.
the structures needed in order to start communicating, and then for listening and comprehension, or for reading and comprehension and everything, you would just go, uh, you know look for material on the internet, no,
A magazine back in the day.
or
Yeah, because
magazines. Yeah,
that material was in 2006. So I did 20 formulas. I put them in a compendium, 20 formulas, subject, verb, complement, then how to make it negative, and then how to make questions, and then how to make closed questions, open questions, but all in formulas. So it was a compendium of formulas and some exercises, to practice those formulas. But at the same time, I think it's always you need to always review and revise your material all the time. That's what quick learning did. That every week they ask teachers, "Hey, what's do you find a mistake? Tell me about it so I can improve my system." So
right.
I think that's the best material, the one that is constantly changing. If
Yeah, you need to update it, like, yeah,
all the
and interchange. Funnily enough, interchange has done it, like, Cambridge. This is right now. They're on the fifth edition, right? When we started
right,
working with it, it was like the second or the third, I think.
right,
But even though they have updated their content, their grammar content, culturally, they're still kind of old fashioned.
right.
Like some of the conversations there, you can find conversations where somebody says, "Oh, but that girl that you introduced me to, like, she likes heavy metal, so I was kind of worried about that." And then
I
the other guy will go like, "Oh yeah, but she's pretty normal, like, at the end of the day, right?" And you're like, "What is this
Right,
book from 1985 or?"
right.
So culturally, yeah, I think it needs to that they need to update that a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. It's on the blue book that it says. No, it's the green book. It's the advanced book
Yeah,
that says. Yeah, it says. Hey, like the guy introduces his friend to his cousin. You know,
yeah,
and what do you think
yes.
about my cousin? And then he says, well, at first I was kind of afraid because
I was kind of
she
freaked
was
out because she
I
was
was
riding a
she was
motorcycle.
riding a motorcycle, and I thought she was this heavy metal girl, and things like that. And then the other guy says, but she's pretty normal, right? Yeah. So,
Exactly. No, you would expect them to be more in touch with times, since it's the
right.
fifth edition, and it's Cambridge. But still, these content this content, it's way easier to follow than, for example, National Geographic's content, when the instead of a conversation about a date, or something, they talk about some people studying, the
Big Bang.
the melting of the ice caps,
Okay. Okay.
or digging up dinosaur bones or stuff like that. Like, okay, so yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I want to learn how to talk to people, and paleontology is not the first thing I'm gonna be talking about.
So maybe I want to understand that maybe National Geographic material is for a specific group of people. Interchange is more for, regular people. Regular people. I'm not saying normal people. You know, I'm
Yeah,
just
I know,
saying
average. Yeah,
average.
which
Right.
is well, yeah, which is kind of my point because National Geographic doesn't they don't promote their material as being directed to a specific type of people. Now, like these books are for biologists, or like ESP, no, like English for specific purposes. No,
Right.
no, no, they sell it as this is for everybody. This is for
Ah.
regular people. And then you see this type of content and you're like, okay, so statistics, and I got a bunch of statistics on many things that I'd say are more for advanced levels or maybe even TOEFL preparation courses,
Right.
but they're on the first level, like on
Okay.
base, yeah, the basic one.
What I would suggest teachers to do with with interchange is to skip some things, to go quick, and then once you have taken your students from book one through book, let's say five, which is passages, you're gonna have a strong B2. You're going to have a strong B2. And then from then on, you can take them wherever you want, comedy, news, whatever, but it will help you structure their English. However, I would also recommend that you give them a previous course before you start with this, that you give them a previous course. So the what I would say, answering to wrap it up, answering what's the best material? The best material for me is the teacher, because we are books also. And if we are gonna use an external material, I recommend you give them from zero to C1s. You give them from zero to something, a course. Then you follow. I would say interchange is my best recommendation right now. At least from book one through passages. That will take you. That will help you take them to strong B1, B2. And then from then on, go on for comedy, go on for news, go on for, I don't know, anything you want. Reading, TOEFL preparation, whatever you want. So I think that will be my answer to what's the best material. What do you think, Nisan? Wrap it
Yeah,
up.
yeah, definitely. What I what I always tell students is I am going to be selecting material for you. Sometimes they will be short stories, sometimes they will be news articles, sometimes they will be comedy, stand up, whatever. But it is up to you, the student, to let me know uh, which uh, which type of material works the best for you.
Right.
Because I might be giving you stuff that you're not really interested in at all, and I might be giving you a lot of poetry and literature and stuff that I think are very sophisticated and deep, and you don't really want that. You really want to know how to have how to do small talk on airports or when you are at some congress abroad, or the opposite. I might be giving you stuff that I think is really practical, in order to communicate, like, I don't know, at the airport, or maybe taking a taxi or whatever. And maybe you really are interested in deeper stuff, more entertaining stuff, funny stuff. So I usually try to give them from the start. I try to give them like diverse material, so they get to tell me later on, okay, you know what, I liked this and this I didn't love, and
Mm.
so I can modulate, so I can adapt to the student.
Right, right, right. Yeah, in that, adding to that, what I do with my students, I always ask them. like I go for a conversation list, topic list, and I tell them, okay, first
Right.
off, tell me what topics you would consider interesting, and then they give me, I don't know, 10 to 20 topics, and then I go, there you go, so I know what this person wants to talk about, and it helps, so it says, and just to wrap it up, it says the best material is when Nissan starts drawing.
How does he know?
Okay.
How do you know? I don't think he ever had a
I
class with me.
I still remember his amazing talent.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, he was in high school with me, and I used to draw a lot during class. But it's interesting that he mentions that because one of the things I do on the whiteboard is I try to come up with funny drawings
I
because
always envied you for that because I never could.
they
I
help a
do
lot. Yeah.
I do circles and lines. If it's if it could it be possible to have a portrait of Nissan drawings in this stream? Maybe not for
I
this stream, but
I
next
I,
one.
I think I'm not talented anymore. Like I don't know
Talent
if I could come up with a drawing.
talent is you can't lose talent. You just don't work it out as much.
Right,
You know?
right.
So it's true. Okay.
Mercedes remembers my drawings.
Okay. So, guys, thank you very much. Today was a, I think it was a good podcast because we talked about what we love. So pretty much. All right. So I will see you next time, Nathan. I will see you at night, though. You
I'll
know.
see you. Yeah, definitely.
So, guys, see you next week. Thanks for showing up. Remember, subscribe to the channel. We have this podcast for students, for teachers and advanced students every single Friday. Now we're gonna be at 11 a.m. All right. So, thank you very much. See you guys next time. Peace.